Hello, sweet people. We're talking about something you may not know yet about the fear of being seen, and that could change your whole belief system about being seen. So let's get into it. By the way, if you're new here, welcome. I'm Vanessa. And if you're returning, thank you so much for tuning in and welcome back. Let me just have a sip of my tea and let's get started. So, there's a complete misunderstanding that we have about being seen and the fear of being seen. And I know a lot of people have this fear of being seen, fear of expressing their light, fear of not being enough or being too much, fear of being rejected, fear of being ridiculed or shamed when, or even, punished when you are who you are and when you're being seen as that. And I'm sure we've all been there. I've been there. Sometimes it comes back, like it's something that comes back, and if you know how to process it, it gets smaller and smaller and smaller every time. Like we're healing not in a straight line, we're healing in layers. So it can come back, but when you know how to process it and know how to own it, rather than it owning you, you are in power. And that means you're not at the mercy of that fear anymore. So you will still keep on taking action that are in alignment with who you are, with your purpose, with what you want, with what excites you in life. And that's really so important, because if we are not going for who we're here to be, we are missing out on feeling alive. We're missing out on so many things where we usually limit ourselves in order not to be seen, in order to stay safe. But is that really safe when you're suffering inside? Sometimes we don't even notice that we're suffering. Sometimes we don't even notice that we're in pain, that we're lonely, that we're restricting ourselves because we've been so used to living like that. But then we're surprised that we feel anxious or depressed or any other thing that is not, making us feel more alive and connected to people and connected to the planet and to life. Yeah, so the fear of being seen is the polar opposite of what you think, because when you are being seen, really seen. And what do I mean with being seen? I mean, when somebody truly sees you for who you are, for the heart that you have, for the desires and the dreams that you have, for the qualities that you have, the good person, the good soul that you are. When somebody can look into your soul and you're being seen, you can actually never be judged. You can actually never be rejected or ridiculed, because when somebody truly sees you, then that person or that soul, they have a certain understanding, even if they don't know you. Even if they may not understand everything about you, they have a certain understanding of, oh wow, that person maybe went through something big, or that person is behaving in a certain way because of whatever. Yeah, but they give you a chance. They're curious about you. They want to learn more about you. So when somebody is seeing you, really seeing you, they can never hurt you actively. Sure, like sometimes we hurt people accidentally that we love, but then we can resolve that. But somebody who sees you, they will have a certain understanding, even if they don't understand everything about you. So being seen for who you truly are is the safest thing in the world. And now you may think, like, maybe you get triggered right now, and that's okay. Take a deep breath, stay with me. But think about it, or feel it. Rather than think about it, feel it. Who is a person? Think of a person that you met, and that can be a stranger, that can be somebody that you know very well, who made you feel seen and safe, who made you feel seen and connected, or like, oh my God, this person gets it or gets me, or I can be safe and myself around this person. I can relax around this person. Maybe you have one single person you felt about this way about. So think of that person for a moment. Did you feel judged by them? Maybe the fear of judgment came up, but did they actually judge you? Because that doesn't mean, just because they receive you well, doesn't mean your fears are not coming up, right? But maybe they've proved you wrong. And that can be one person, that can be a handful of people, it can be thousands of people that you feel like this with. But this means really being seen. This is really the definition of being seen. And when you hide yourself, when you hide who you truly are, you also close up your energy field, you close up your aura, and you are actually not open to letting others in. So if you're lonely and you're like, oh, I have nobody that I feel seen by, I have nobody that I feel safe with being seen, then you may not even allow somebody like that in, because maybe people want to try, but you turn away, or you don't look at people, or you're always isolating, or you have this attitude of don't even talk to me. So maybe your aura, your energy field is even saying stay out, stay out, stay out. Yeah, and people respect that often. And so you gotta ask yourself as well, when I leave my house, with what attitude do I leave? Do I leave with a state of fear and protection? Or do I leave with a state of openness and certainty that I'm going to be okay? Yeah, or at least a state of openness and a sense of, let's see what happens today. Yeah, sort of a little bit curiosity for the unknown. And if you are the person who leaves the house in a fear state and please don't talk to me and don't come near me and I'm afraid of the world, and that's no judgment here, trust me, I've been there too, then just know that there's work for you. Yeah, because there is something standing between who you are and what you want. You know, there's something standing between you and whatever it is you desire, you crave, you wish for in the world. And it is so important to learn to embody your essence, to embody who you really are. Why? Because that's what you came here for. And I'm not saying this in you need to start a business, you need to do this, you need to do that. No, living in purpose and in alignment means you follow what excites you. You follow what you're curious about, what gives you a spark. And if we are so afraid to take any step and so afraid to be seen in the world, we may stop the flow of a higher power, you may call it higher self, floating through you, soul floating through you, God, universe, source floating through you. You may stop it or restrict it in order not to shine your light, because you learned shining my light is not safe. Shining my light is dangerous. Or when I shine my light, I will hurt other people because they get jealous and you don't want to hurt them. But shining your light is what you're here for. So in order to live in alignment and joy and fulfillment, you can never hurt anybody by being yourself. You may trigger them, just like I may trigger some people here by being myself and speaking whatever flows through me. I'm never planning those videos. I let God flow through me. Source, universe, soul flow through me. And I'm not controlling that. Yeah, because this is who I am. This is my vessel. And whatever wants to come through me is coming through me. I'm allowing that. But it took for me also a while to learn to allow it, to sort of unblock the parts of myself that felt ashamed about making a YouTube video, that felt ashamed about speaking freely and even saying the words God and soul and energy and aura. But now it's just, it's free. It's free. And there are ways to decondition yourself from staying in the head. So imagine your mind may say, like, your heart may say, I really want to do that. Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. Okay, Vanessa said she did it. I can do it too. I'm going to get started with my art or with my cooking or with my hairdressing or whatever it is. And then your mind is like, really? I mean, there's so many people doing that. How are you going to stand out? Do you even want to stand out? Well, you shouldn't, because you're not cool enough. So when you let your mind get in the way, it's going to stop you, because the mind is your security system. It's kind of like the security system of your survival instinct. Yeah. So your mind is constantly wired to have you survive, and having you survive in that case that you have this limiting belief that being seen as pain or being seen as dangerous or not safe may mean for you, I cannot speak up, I cannot go into my authenticity, because if I do, it's not safe. So your mind is getting alarmed and it's like, let's do something that this person, you in this case, will as soon as possible stop with that action. And your mind knows what works. So maybe that's the harsh voice. Maybe that's the victim voice, yeah, from mom or dad or the teacher. So you internalize the voices that felt limiting to you growing up, or an ex-partner or whoever. And you internalize those voices because you know they keep you safe. It sounds really weird, I know. And it sounds counterproductive and not actually supportive. And that's it. It's not supportive. So when you hear that voice come up, say, thank you. I know you want to protect me, but it's actually not supportive anymore. Yeah, you need to speak softly with that voice. And first of all, you need to recognize whatever voice is showing up, whatever mechanism is showing up to keep you limited. That may be food. Yeah, you eat so much that you feel tired and you're not active anymore to do whatever it was you wanted to do. Or you drink and then you feel like, I'm now too relaxed, I'm not going to do it. Or you scroll on Instagram, or you do whatever it is that holds you back from taking action, because your mind thinks, when I take this action, I'm not safe. But maybe, as you're realizing now, that mechanism may have worked in that old relationship, in that childhood, in that earlier times, because there was a reason why you developed this coping mechanism to keep you safe. Okay? But now it's not serving anymore. Now it's limiting you. Now it's keeping you stuck in depression, in anxiety, in anything that doesn't make you feel fully alive. So, notice the voice. Notice when it happens. And rather than stopping yourself and keeping yourself stuck in the limitation, instead of living a free life and becoming who you are, and that doesn't always need to be something what society deems as big or famous or whatever. No, it can just be that you want to open a cafe. It can just be that you want to dress the way that you've never dared to. It can be that you want to go on a festival. It can be small things. Yeah, it doesn't matter. It's whatever is in your heart, whatever you desire, to take tiny steps action on towards it. So you got to think, when I am 90, will I regret having tried and taken action? Or will I actually be proud that I actually at least tried? And on the contrary side, when I'm 90 and I've never let myself live, will I be okay with that? Or will I regret that? And, research shows that people who are close to their death mostly regretted the things that they didn't do but wanted to do. So now is your time, no matter what age you are, to listen to your heart and your soul and take action. And sometimes we're afraid to be seen because of what happened in the past. Maybe you haven't been seen by your parent or by your teacher, or maybe you've gotten told you'll never make it, or maybe, like you haven't had this emotional support that would have made you feel safe enough to do whatever it is you wanted to do. But now is the time that you can, first of all, start giving it to yourself, that support, and that means working with your inner child. So if you've never done that and you want some support with that, reach out. I'm happy to, have a chat with you and see if working together is an option for you, or there are some free and some low budget options of, like some work that I'm sharing. If you want to get started, for example, with the Soul Clarity journal, you can take a look at that. It's 22 euros, which is probably like $25. And there's a few free meditations where you can start getting in touch with your body, with what you're feeling, which is basically the source of unblocking our state to more internal freedom. But yeah, if you want to live a life that is more freedom-based and where you express yourself, and, we need you. We need more people who are living in alignment, because when we're living in alignment, we're living also in more fulfillment. And we need to have more people with open hearts that feel free to be themselves, because this is what changes the world. And I know, it sounds cheesy, but you can only start changing yourself, and when you change yourself, you will create ripple effects. And that's what this world needs. We need more people that are, living in their truth and expressing who they are. And the fear of being seen is in between you and whatever it means to be fully expressed. And as you just heard from me, being seen is actually safe. So not being seen means all the people that are not meant to hear you and see you are just those people who are not going to hear and see you. And maybe there will be rejection, and maybe there will be comments, or maybe there will be whatever. But if you learn to realize those people are not meant for me, and that is just maybe God, universe, trying to strengthen me through that sense of rejection, and actually wants me to realize, oh, rejection, okay, that just means those people are not for me. Doesn't mean I'm wrong being myself. Doesn't mean I shouldn't be shining my light as it is to the fullest capacity. Yeah, because if there's one other person that needs your light, isn't it worth it to shine it? If you can help them with you shining your light, isn't that worth it? And then it's like an ego question. Why do I need everybody to like me? Why is it not okay that some people reject me? Yeah, so these are those uncomfortable feelings within you that need processing, that need integration, and that can come from a place of pride, that can be coming from like a wound where you learned that being seen is painful. And that simply means that we need to build the capacity, the somatic capacity, so the feeling, the sensational capacity to feel rejection and accept rejection. Because when you can learn to accept rejection, not from a place of victimhood, not from a place of anger or superiority, but from a place of being yourself, from a place of being human and being, that's me. You want to reject me? Okay, doesn't mean it cannot hurt, right? I can get rejected and it can hurt. And then I sit with the pain and allow myself to feel the pain. And maybe that pain is linked to a wound from the past. And then I realize I need to talk to my inner child and just let them feel. And I imagine to hug them and just let them know it's okay to be rejected. Not everybody is for you. And I'm sorry you got hurt, but I'm always here. I will never let you down. I will never reject you. Yeah, and when you build that respect for yourself, you will also start feeling freer to open up your energy field and actually feel less afraid to let others in. And then people that may have long wanted to come into your field, but you didn't allow them because you weren't able to receive them, you will now be able to receive more. And you will learn again to trust humans and to trust that not everybody will reject you and that there are people who see you. Yeah. And it's a practice, it's a process, but being seen is really, really, really safe. Not being seen is the thing that's painful. My phone stopped recording, and so it's the next day actually, but I wanted to finish the thought that I had yesterday and just summarize and say what feels unsafe or painful is not being seen, but not being seen. I hope that makes sense for you, because it made a whole lot of sense to me, and it changed my whole understanding of the world, because most people don't take the time to look deeper into somebody or get curious. And that's, if you're afraid to be seen, if you are rambling with this fear of not being seen or being seen, both often go in some way hand in hand. Ask yourself, where am I not seeing myself? But then where am I also judgmental towards others? Yeah, because especially people on a spiritual path in the beginning of the journey often develop spiritual ego. So what does that mean? That means you may feel like, now that you know these things about the universe, spirituality, the deeper layers, you may feel like you know better than somebody else, or you're superior to somebody else, or they just don't know. Yeah, but this is actually spiritual ego. And in those moments, it's really important to take a breath and just notice what's happening and tell yourself, all right, everybody is on their path. And you don't actually know how far ahead somebody is, and you perceive them to be behind or not as knowing as you are just discovering to be. So where are you judging yourself and others? Because sometimes it feels like nobody understands me, I'm all alone in the world, and that is a victim perspective. And sometimes it can truly feel like that, and then it's good to sit with those feelings. And I really understand that, because I've been there as well. But then again, if you begin to open up to somebody, and sometimes that's even a stranger or somebody, go to the places that you really want to go to, that you feel really like, here, if I do this yoga session here, if I have my breakfast there, those are locations and places with good energy that make me feel really good and warm and welcome. And maybe there you will also encounter people that you can start opening up to again. And also when you find yourself judging somebody, maybe you can pause and notice, all right, I'm judging this person. That's an interesting moment for me to get curious. And then you can go inside and notice, what about them am I judging? Is it something that I desire? Is that jealousy? Is it something that I feel triggered by because I have a wound? Or is it even something that I'm doing to myself or others, knowingly or unknowingly? And I'm saying this completely without judgment, because I know how that feels like, but it's so good to take self-responsibility and notice that where I'm judging others, this is where I may be judging myself. So this creates this ripple effect. So what is going on within me, right? Because when I release that block, I feel more alive, safer, more free within myself, and I will also change my perspective on the world, right? Okay, this is the message for today. Thank you so much for tuning in and staying until here, if you're here. you deserve to be seen in your natural light, and it's only getting more important that you step into your authenticity and that you get to, I even want to say, like, it's a breath of fresh air that you'll feel once you overcome that fear. Once you process it. Overcoming for me really means processing, not pushing it away, because it's not going to go anywhere. That's only temporary. Processing. And if you need help, you find all my info in the box below, or work with somebody, because this is your biggest asset moving forward, finding trust and grounding in your authenticity and learning that this is who you're here to be. And it's welcome and it's loved. But often we haven't learned that growing up or through certain experiences in our life. So we feel like, ooh, it's dangerous to be myself. I shouldn't be myself. But it's a mental construct and it's a misunderstanding actually that we have. Because like I explained to you, when you are being seen, it's actually such a good feeling. You feel like, oh my God, thank God. And maybe you've had this experience with just one person in your life and you remember how good that felt. That is what it means to be seen. So it's in your hand to let other people see you. And if they misunderstand you, maybe you say now, but what if they misunderstand me? What if they don't see me? Then they are not for you. Trust a higher power with this. See it as a rule for life. It doesn't need to intimidate you. It doesn't need to make you feel less than. This is a construct of society. This is a construct of your mind, of your belief system that is connected to, if I'm being seen, there's pain. Or fear or shame, any sort of pain. But it actually is connected to not being seen, not being understood, not being accepted, not feeling loved and connected. That's why it's so important for us to open our hearts to ourselves and others through releasing judgment on inward and outward. Because when there's more acceptance within and without, then you will feel so much more safe to let yourself be seen, to take even this step. And then being seen, it's beautiful, it's love, it's actually pure love, being seen. Feeling that sensation of I'm seen, and seeing others, giving others the benefit of a doubt. Not being naive in the sense of trusting people where you have a bad feeling, or trusting people that don't deserve your trust because they're actually mistreating and disrespecting you, that are not your people. Or maybe there's a conversation that can be held to share, whoa, this doesn't work for me. And then you can decide together, will that other person change and take action on respecting you because maybe it wasn't on purpose, their actions, or will they revolt and not see or hear you? That's all I have to say for today. I love you. Thank you for being here. And I hope this video helped you a little bit to feel a little more confident, to build a little more confidence. And I actually recommend you to watch this video again or a few more times so it sinks in, because this concept, if it just lands logically, it's not going to go much deeper. This is something, use the journal prompts that I shared here, and really go into that. If you say like, I'm not fully understanding, go deeper. It's super powerful. All right. See you in the next video.